Hey class, Miss Cooper here. Last week you guys did Mirror Me Document 1, where you were using Google Docs and mirroring a Google Doc that I had created, and you did that to varying degrees of success. Some of you were not successful really at all. Others of you did make some progress on that, but what we're going to do this week is we're going to try this again, but I'm going to take you step by step through the process. And the way that that's going to work is you're going to listen to this video and watch me do something, and then I will pause. There'll be a pause in your Edpuzzle video, where just like if you were answering a question, the video will stop and you will have time to complete that on your own. If you need to rewatch that section, you can rewatch it. And that way you should end up with a document that looks exactly like mine, and you shouldn't have any questions. You should know exactly what to do by listening to the video. So here we have what our document is going to look like in the end. So this is our master copy, the one that we are mirroring. And then what you've got is going to look something more like this. It has the text. It does have the headings this time. I went ahead and added those in. This isn't supposed to be there. So let me go ahead and delete that. So it has the text and it has the headings, and that should be about all that's there for you. Okay. So what we're going to do now is our first step is going to be to set up our page the way that we want it. So if you look at this page here, you notice that the margins are an inch. Okay, see, we've got about a 1-inch margin here. And we're going to change those to a smaller margin, and we're going to add a background color. And we do this in the same place, which is in page setup. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to page setup right here. And then first we can change the page color. That's really easy. It's this pale yellow up here, light yellow number 3. And you can click on that. And then you notice here that your margins, that's the white space on each corner of your or not corner, but each side of your document, the top, bottom, left, and right. Those margins are all set at 1 inch, and we're going to make them half that size so that we've got more text and less white space. So we're going to make that 0.5. I'm just going to copy 0.5 so I don't have to type it again every time. And paste, Control V to paste. You can go through and type it all if you want, but it's way easier that way. So 0.5. And then we're going to set OK. When we do that, I think because I copy and pasted some of this text from online, your text is going to show up as with a white highlight. See how it doesn't match the background yellow? So we can push Control A, and that's going to select all of our text so we don't have to drag down and highlight it all. And then we're going to go up to the highlighter. It's set to white. You may not realize that otherwise if it had a white background. But we're going to go to none here, and that'll take that off so that it matches the background color. I'm going to pause the video and give you a second to do those things. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is headers and footers. We're going to put our title in a header. And what a header does, it's just something at the top of the page, kind of like in the margin, that can repeat on other pages. So if we want our title to show up on every page, we can write it at the top, and then it will go on the top of each page. But it also helps it from being messed up if you're working on the document. So we're going to put our title in a header, even though we're only going to have the title in the first page. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert, Headers and Footers, and we're going to start by inserting a header. We're going to put our title and the name of the author in that header. So we'll go here. I'm going to go ahead and center. Do not push Tab to center, and don't space over to get the title in the center, because see how our title is supposed to be in the middle? So what we want to do is use these alignment buttons up here. So we're going to center align, and that's going to get us exactly in the middle of the page. And then we're going to type the title, which is, I've forgotten, The Origins of Famous Foods. Okay. And that title is, let me see here what I've done. It's 25.5. I don't know why I did a 0.5, but you have to type it in. 25.5 is the font size. And hit enter. And then it's the text is lobster. For me, that's excuse me. For me, that's going to pop up. For you, you may have to go to add more fonts and search, but you should be able to find that one. So it's lobster. And then we're going to hit enter, and we're already centered. So we're just going to change the size of the text for the author's name to, let's see, I think it's Comforta size 10. So 10-point font and Comforta. Again, you may have to look at more fonts, and that's one that I think maybe some of you had a hard time finding. So if you can't find it, just find something similar. But here we're going to write by Mary Morton Cowan. I can't type today. Cricket Media is where she works. And so then you have that on your header. Now, look at this. It's on every page. But if you look at the master, it's only supposed to be on our first page. So what we really should have done was when we first pulled this up, click different first page because our first page is different. But we messed up, okay? So if you open this up when you're doing yours and just go ahead and automatically click first page, then we won't have any problems. But I'm going to click it now, and you're going to notice now I don't have that on my first page. I have it on every other page, but not on that first one. So what I can do is I can just take this and cut it and copy it and paste it up here. And then it's going to be on the first page, but not any other page, which is what we want. But that's kind of how headers work. They repeat on every page. You can put page numbers on them, or you can put your title in like the top right corner so that the title's on every page. But maybe on the first page you want to have a big title, and then you do different per page, put it like this, and then maybe put the title in the top right smaller on every other page. Maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. So we're good on our header now. So we can click off of that, and I'm going to delete this because I had it written down here for me. Look back at our master and make sure things look good. One thing that looks a little off is you notice that our font here is like a charcoal, and here it's a gray, and it's also bolded in this one and not this one. See, we didn't notice that. It's hard to notice until you see it side by side. So change it to a charcoal color, make it bold. And then another thing, I don't know if you noticed, is there's more space in between here. There's a couple ways you can do this, but I think what I did here was added a space after paragraph. Looks a little large. Actually, I may have done 1.5 spacing. Oh, and now we've got to remove that space. I'm not really going to check for that, but that just kind of shows you how to play around a little with that. Maybe it's that. I don't know. No, that doesn't look right either. We're going to go 1.5. All right, so you've got your header now. I'm going to give you, it's still not exact, but it's close. We're gonna go with it. It still doesn't look like the right color. We're just going to leave it like that. I'm going to give you a second to go do that. All right, the next thing we're going to do is very similar to the header. We're going to do a footer. A footer is the same thing as a header, except it's at the bottom. And what we're going to do with our footer is we're going to put page numbers in. And there's a couple ways that you can put page numbers on your document. But what we've got here is notice that our page numbers, no page numbers on the first page, but on the second page, it starts in the bottom right-hand corner. There's page numbers. So what we want to do is we're going to go to insert, and like I said, there's two ways we can do this. We can go to page numbers and do it from here. And look, there's page numbers in the bottom right, but that's going to put a page number on number 1, but we don't want a page number on number 1. We're going to make it complicated and not have a page number on 1, but have it on every other page after that. So we would go to more options. We would start at 1 because page 1 is 1, 2 is 2, but we're going to uncheck show on first page. Okay, So that's one way you can do this. Oh, and we want it on our footer. So that's one way you can do this and hit apply. Another way is to go to insert and go directly to footers. And then you can go to options, page numbers, and then that same box pops up. So we want a footer. We don't want it to show on the first page, but we do want to start on page 1. And then so that if you're doing something complicated, sometimes you're starting a document on a different page than you really want it to start on. But here, our page 1 is page 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. So we'll hit apply. And then you see that on our first page, there's no, let me hit off this so you can see better. There's no number here, but starting with the second page, there's a 2 and there's a 3, which is what we have here on our text document that we're copying. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you do the footer real quick. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to insert our table of contents here. See how we've got this? We're going to do that next. Notice that the table is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And this one, there's no columns, but we're going to start with columns on it, and then I'll show you what to do. But there's 1, 2, 3 columns, so it's 5 by 3. So on our thing, we want it to go after this first line here. So we're going to go to insert, table, 3 columns, 5 rows. Okay, and we'll put that in there. Got too much space here. So now we've got our column. Looks a lot different, or our table. It looks a lot different, but we'll get it looking like the other one. First thing we're going to do is this first one row is all one row in this here. So some of you may have been tempted to take away borders, but that's not exactly what we have here. What we've done is we've merged cells. So you right click, or if you're not using a mouse, you'll take 2 fingers and just tap them together on your mouse pad. And then we'll go down to merge cells, and it will merge those cells together, just like that. So now we can write table of contents. We can make it bold like the other one. Oops, I messed up here. Oh, shoot. Bold. Georgia 10, that should be right. Let's see, Georgia 12. I thought it looked a little bigger. So we're going to change the font size to 12. Okay. And then we're just going to fill in that table. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and let you create the table, merge this first row, and then fill in the words that are on the table. Okay, so your table should now look like this, but you see it still doesn't look like our table we're supposed to be modeling after. We've got a few things we've still got to do. One, we want to add fill color to make the background not yellow. So we want to click on this cell, and you may have to drop down over here, and we're looking for the paint bucket where we fill the color in. I'm going to go to fill color, and it's kind of like a darker gray. I think it's probably this one here. Does that look about right? Maybe one shade lighter. A lot of gray options. Okay, looks good. Now we are going to highlight all 4 of these rows and make them a shade of gray too, but it's a lighter shade of gray. I think it's about the 3rd one in. Let's see if that looks right. Yeah, looks good. Okay, and then the next thing that you're going to do after you make the colors correct is notice that this table is smaller. It's squished in. Now this may take some work and it won't be exact, but you can see here about where our table is on our ruler. So that might be a way we can kind of judge, but we're going to highlight the table and we're just going to start moving these to squish it in. and it's going to do it by row. And then you'll have to grab a row and kind of adjust. And that doesn't look quite right. Pull this out here. Move this over some. Let's see. Like, there's got to be a better way to do this, but this is not my area of expertise in Google Docs, so we're just gonna try to wing it here and get it close as we can. That looks about right. What do y'all think? But you just have to move the ends, and then, like I said, when you move something, it's gonna just move that one wall, and it's gonna keep the cell kind of small, and so you'll just move these inside to adjust. But like I said, it's just kind of a matter of playing around here. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all do that now. Okay, and then the next thing that we're doing, you notice there's one more thing with our table, our jump to sections. Now, some of you just highlighted these and made them underlined in blue, but that's not what they were supposed to do. Notice that in this document, when I click this, it's going to jump to that section. Oh, okay. Apparently I messed something up on that. But goes to Popsicle, and then Lifesavers goes to Lifesavers. Okay. This one that I messed up is supposed to, let's go to edit. It's supposed to go to Coca-Cola. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, so they jump to those sections. You can click on them and it will take you there without having to scroll down. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to do that to ours. And you do that by creating a hyperlink, just like if you were linking out to something on the web, except we're going to link in the document. So we'll do it to this first section here first. And we'll go to link. And then we'll come down to end this document. And okay, we don't have any headers yet. So sometimes it automatically notices headers and sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to have to go ahead and create our headers. And when I say headers, I don't mean a header like up here. I mean a heading. I'm saying the word header. I mean headings. So this is a heading, chocolate chip cookies. We're going to make it bold and 18 size font. Okay. And we also, I think, make it underlined. Yes. So let's see if it will do it now or if we need to actually okay, go to link in this doc. Still no header. Okay, so we're actually going to have to make it a header. The other day, I swear it recognized it without me doing anything. So we're going to label this as a heading. Georgia 18 is what we want. Bold, underlined. Okay, now let's try this. Okay, all right, so you're going to have to make it a header by going up here to where it says styles and going down to heading. Again, I said header, I mean heading. Okay, and so we're going to do that for each of these. Coca-Cola, and then we're going to, so I'll do that one with you, and then I'll let you do these on your own. So we'll go down to where it's Coca-Cola. We're going to go to heading 1. I think there's a way you can make it automatically put it the way you want. So Georgia size 18, bold and underlined, but I don't have time to figure that out right now. So we'll just do it manually. And then you'll do that to each of these Popsicles and Lifesavers. And then you will link, again, by highlighting this text, going to the link, going down to in this document, and then clicking on what you want to link to. Okay, so I'm going to pause and let you guys do that. Okay, so I figured out real quick, you guys don't have to do this because you've probably already done it, but I figured out how to, if this is how you want your heading to look, you can go to heading 1 and update heading 1 to match. And then that way, when you go to another heading and highlight it and go to, right here, and go to heading 1 and apply heading 1, it's going to automatically make it the font style that you've selected. So that was just bonus because you should have already made all of these look that way. But there you go. And while I'm thinking about it, another way that you can make text match another piece of text, like if you want this to be the same as your header looks, but not be a heading, then you can use the paintbrush. You can highlight like this right here and hit this paint format, and it's going to make, well, I'll just show you what it does. So it's going to copy the formatting of this and apply it to the next thing that you highlight. So see, now it matches. So that's a useful tool that I don't think I've shown you guys. Okay, so this should all be good now. Your table of contents should look good. Each section should jump to the section. You should have your headings, which I noticed are kind of the wrong color. They're black here and like a charcoal color here. You can fix that if you want. I'm going to leave it alone for now. But anyway, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in images, insert our images. And you notice in the master document that the images are all after your headers, okay? So, and have to do with that section. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert our chocolate chip cookie picture. So we'll go to insert image, search the web. And I think for pretty much all these, I put in exactly what the section was titled. So chocolate chip cookie, and then transparent. I put in transparent because it'll help narrow it down to images that don't have white backgrounds. And so we'll put that in, see if we can find our picture. It doesn't have to be the exact same one, but kind of like it close. Looks like we've got this one right here. Most of them should be toward the top. And so then we'll click insert. And our picture is going to go in here, gigantic size. We can go ahead and resize that a little, but we may need to resize when we get it in columns. Okay. About like that. Okay, and we're going to do the same for our others. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just let you find each of these images, insert them under the heading, and resize them. And again, just search the title of the heading. So search popsicles transparent. Actually, I think on the popsicles and lifesavers, it doesn't matter because they don't really they both have backgrounds. So I think from this point, you can just search by the heading name, and then you should be able to find the images or something similar and insert those and resize them. And then come back here. Okay, so you should have images under each of your headings now. You may have had one that's a little bit different, like this one for me is different than the original, but should be something close. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our article itself into columns. And we only want to do it from here down. So we don't want this part up here included. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the chocolate chip cookies and scroll our way to the bottom. We don't need this down here really, just to right here. And then we're going to go to format, columns, and we're going to go to 2 columns. But you may also notice that over here, there's a line in between, and you do that in the same place. So we're going to go ahead and put it. So we'll go to, again, format, columns, and then we're going to go down here to more options. We want 2 columns, and then we also want a line between columns. So we'll hit apply on that. And then that should have us looking very similar to what we have on this other document. I don't know why there's so much space between our table and the first article. Well, good enough. It's going to be a little bit different because our spacing is just a little bit different on this first one. There's not quite as much space taken up here. We never did italicize that and make it a different size, but that's okay. And that's up there is single spaced. It looks like it's still a little bit bigger. Size 14. Yeah, that looks about right. So it may look a little bit different side by side. Let's see how this one cuts off. I started, it looked weird to have the heading here and then a picture down here. So I made this onto the next page. But as long as yours looks okay, which it does, it comes down here a little bit, then that is fine. Now you do notice that on this one, I think some of the problem is that each line is indented, and I do want that done. So we'll go ahead and do that now. In just a second after I give you time to do the columns. So go ahead and do the columns first, and make sure you add the dividing line. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do, which I just hinted at, is something that you may not have even noticed when you were doing this the first time, and that is that each of the paragraphs is indented, which is how paragraphs should be typically. So we're going to go into this document, and I wouldn't have made you do this, but I've noticed in my typing classes that this is something that some of y'all don't realize, even though it's super easy. So when you start a new paragraph, we don't want to do spaces over. We want to hit the tab so it's an even indent number. It's going to go automatically to a 1/2 inch, which you can set that to different things, but we're just going to leave it how it is. And that way every new paragraph has an even start to it. I don't know where this next paragraph starts. I think it's, yeah, many sources. So yeah, we're going to hit indent on all of these paragraphs. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and let you guys do that. Every single paragraph indent. Okay, so I've indented every paragraph. Hopefully you have too. You may have to go in and make sure to compare it to this one that they start in the right place. But we're going to move on now. So still might look a little bit different than the original, but it should be close. So see, mine is a little off. This comes down here, whereas in the other one it doesn't. I mean, I think that's just because for some reason there's some extra spacing up here and below each heading that I don't have in this first one, but it's not a big deal. Notice that I keep saying that, but I keep bringing it up because to me it is a little bit of a big deal, but I'm trying to get over it. So, all right. So this is what you should be looking like, is something similar to this. Now, if you have something weird where like maybe it says Coca-Cola up here, but the picture comes down here, what you can do is make a page break by going to insert page break where you want it to go to a new page. I wish I could show you this. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do it and then maybe undo it. So let's say this Popsicles one, I wanted it to go onto a new page because it was at the very end and it was weird how it was like, well, let me just do this. I'm going to take out this paragraph here and then I'll put it back. So, oh, it's going to just totally mess up. Well, never mind. But basically, if you hit Control Enter, it's going to take wherever you're starting. So like if I do it here, I hit Control Enter, it's going to make a page break and take that section, that heading to the next page. Okay, you just have to put your cursor wherever you want it to go to a new page. But I'm not going to do that with mine. But if you've got one that's kind of hanging over, like the titles, so the heading's over here, but the picture's over here, then that's what you can do. All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is insert our hyperlinks. Okay, so in this document over here, you'll notice that there's some certain words where they are hyperlinked to web pages. So like Toll House Inn hyperlinks to Wikipedia article about the Toll House Inn. So you could read more about that. Nestle goes to nestle.com. And y'all should already know how to do this, but I'll show you how to do one. And then the other ones, you'll just have to go and click on the original document and see where they lead to, and then you can hyperlink those. And I think there's maybe 1, 2, 3 of them, and I think that's it. Yeah, so 3 hyperlinks. So I'm going to do the first one with you. So the first one is Toll House Inn. So we'll click here to hyperlink. And one thing look, it's right here, Toll House Inn Wikipedia. Now that's noticing that because it's just searching for those words and knows to find it, or it may be because I've recently looked at that, but you could put Toll House Inn, my keys are sticking today, in Wikipedia, and it should come up. That's something I haven't showed y'all to do. You can search here instead of pulling up a new page and searching in Google if you know what you're wanting to link. And there it is, Toll House Inn Wikipedia, and we just apply that. And then the next one is Coca-Cola, which you're linking to coca-cola.com. And then I think there's one other one. I know there's one other one you have to do. I can't remember what it is, but you can look at the master and see. So I'll let you guys do the hyperlinks now. Okay, so now you should have links to each of these places. Mine came up pretty easily. I didn't have to go into Google to search, but if you could go and search there and then link it. But we've done hyperlinks before, so I'm going to assume that you guys got that under control. The next thing that we're going to do, one of the more difficult things, is because we haven't worked with spreadsheets before, but we're going to start to, so this will be a good introduction, is we're going to add in a graph at the bottom. Which is your favorite? Chocolate chip cookies, Coca-Cola, popsicles, Lifesavers. And it's like we took a vote, even though we didn't really. So we're going to add this graph in, and we're going to go after model it after this one. So this should be our title. These should be our categories, and then these are the number of people who voted whatever way. Okay, so what we're going to do, and this is where we're going to put it down here at the bottom, is we're going to go to, let me just take this out. We don't want it too far down here. Okay, so get it where you want the graph to go, and we're going to go to Insert Chart, and we want a bar. Okay, so we will click on that. It's going to bring up just a generic one here. And some of y'all made it this far. You did this. But look at this. This makes no sense. It absolutely has nothing to do with our article. It says points scored, team 1, team 2, and there's 2 different lines. I'm resizing it so it'll fit all on this one page. We're going to try to get it all on here. So this chart has nothing to do. This is just like an example chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to change this to match what's over here. So we're going to go and open source. See, I clicked on this little link right here, and we're going to click on open source, and it's going to open up a spreadsheet for us that's already created with these categories from this generic chart that we have here, graph. So, oh, what's happening? Okay, so you'll see it took a second to load for me, but anyway, so you see here that this data has created this chart. So, but we don't want this. We want different stuff. So we're going to go in over here first of all and change the chart title. Oh, right here. Title text, points scored. We want ours to say I think it's which one is your favorite or something like that. So we'll delete points scored and write which one is your favorite with the question mark at the end. Let me double check and make sure that's right. Which is your favorite? So we can take out the 1. All right, so which is your favorite? And so see, now our title is changed over here. It says, which is your favorite? But we only want one line, so we can just delete this second line here. Okay. Now we don't have teams, we have different foods. So instead of team 1, we'll delete that and write, oh, I just accidentally swapped cells. We'll write chocolate chip cookies. Okay. And instead of team 2, we'll delete that and we're going to write, I forgot what comes second, Coca-Cola. Okay. And then you're going to fill in each of these. And then for our numbers, you're gonna keep going right here and fill this out. And then we're also gonna change our numbers. So like see on wrong one, on chocolate or chocolate chips, it's exactly between 20 and 30, so it's 25. Coca-Cola is 30, popsicles 15, lifesavers 10. So you're gonna go in and erase these numbers in this and make them match as well. So chocolate chip cookies was 30, I think. Isn't that what I just said? I'm terrible at remembering numbers. 25. So we'll put 25. Coca-Cola is 30. People liked Coca-Cola. And then we'll go in here and write popsicles, lifesavers, and how many there were that liked those and voted for those. So you just go back and forth. So I'm going to let you finish filling in this chart here. We also don't want this to say period 1. Okay, so you'll delete that. I don't think that ours said anything. Yeah, that's all we need. And then you'll finish filling this out, and then I'll meet you back here in just a minute. Okay, so once you have your chart looking like this, you've got all your different ones, the different numbers that match with the information in the graph that's on the first one, and yours looks like this, then what you need to do is you can just X out of it. It's not going to hurt anything. But you'll come back to your screen and you're not going to notice anything different. It doesn't automatically update the information. So there should be a little button up here though that says update. And when you push that, then it will look like the one that you created. And so then you've got that. So good work. The next little thing that we're going to do is real simple. At the end, you notice it says Karas Publishing Company reproduced with permission. It says that on this first one here too, except it's in italics and it has a copyright symbol before it. So we're going to italicize this and add the copyright symbol, and then I think we should be done. We'll look over it and double check. But you're going to italicize, and then we want a copyright symbol right here before the text. So we'll unitalicized because it would look weird to have a copyright symbol italicized. I'm not even sure if it would do it, but just in case, we'll unitalicize it. And we're going to go to insert symbols or special characters. Sorry, insert special characters. And it pulls up a bunch of different special characters, like different types of arrows, currency that you can use. There's all kinds of different symbols and things in here that you can find. But I typically never go looking around in here for what I want. What I do as soon as this pulls up is I search for what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a copyright symbol. And see, I start typing in copyright and there it is right there. So I'm going to insert that and then I can X this out. We want a space here because it looks weird if there's no space. And then we should be good. So let's just go back here and double check. Make sure everything looks pretty similar. So a few differences in spacing, but pretty close at the beginning. Go through here. Doesn't look like anything looks different. I don't think we've missed anything. But you can go through and double check and make sure that everything looks good, and then you are ready to submit. It looks like we've got an extra page on this one. All we have to do, if there's an extra blank page, is it means that some of your some blank space has gotten down into that fourth page. So you put your cursor down on that fourth page and find where it kind of ends. See my blinking cursor? I hit backspace until I get back up to this page, and it'll delete that final page. So then I think we're good, okay? So if you have any questions, let me know. But if you've got it looking correctly, then you can go ahead and turn this in. Thanks, guys. Bye.